Welcome into the Unified Media Lab here at Ball State. First ever edition here inside the Unified Media Lab of SportsLink Live. We start with Ball State soccer head coach Craig Roberts and Paula Guerrero. I'm Connor Onion. Glad you can join us, guys. You just got back from a road trip this weekend, Mid-American Conference play, a win on Friday and then a draw on Sunday. Coach, we'll start with you. A potent offensive attack for Central Michigan on Sunday. You're able to limit them to a shutout. How were you able to limit that attack?
We have a great back four that's back there, and obviously goalkeeping is a real solid position as well for us. And so, obviously we had to prepare effectively for Central Michigan, but the back four played tremendously with Lorena White and Taylor Pooley, obviously centering that up. They kept the task very, very strong and denied any real opportunities for them to shoot on us. So we were obviously really delighted with their performance.
Paula, up front on the attack, I understand they were a little bit physical with you, throwing some elbows your way. How physical was that Central Michigan defense?
Oh, I think that especially in the midfield, they were really, really physical. But I think that we did a really good job retaining them, so it was good.
Coach, let's talk about your back line. That's probably your most experienced unit back there with Lorena White and Leah Mattingly at left back. Why have they been so effective now that those two are seniors?
I just think, over the years that they've been here, they've really taken to task about just self-evaluating and what they need to do to improve. And they're both like sponges in the sense of give them instruction. They're always trying to better themselves and learn from their past practice or their past game performance. And so, consequently, when you have that kind of a positive attitude of always self-evaluating and improving, you're going to get better. And they continue to strive on doing that.
After this weekend against Central Michigan, the back line also got a little bit of aid from Shea McNitt at defensive midfield. You were quoted after the game as saying Shea McNitt was outstanding against Central Michigan on Sunday. Why'd you feel that way?
Shea's been here for 4 years, and I think that sometimes we always highlight the goal scorer, or we highlight the person who makes the saving goal. And sometimes one of the positions is really overlooked is a holding midfield player. And Shea was just very consistent in her performance. The player at Central Michigan that played in the attacking midfield role is very pinnacle for them. And I just felt that Shea did a super job of just doing her defensive duties to close down and to put a stop to any real attack that they had to put forth. But Shea was just very, very consistent throughout the entire game, worked very hard, both on Friday and on Sunday. And to have that consistency out of a player in that pinnacle spot is huge for Ball State.
Paula, you had your first opportunity in conference play to go on the road and be with your teammates away from Muncie. What was that like to play in conference play away from home for the first time?
It's different to play away because we are used to play here at home, but I think that we are really good trying to play away and trying to understand how the other teams play. So I think it was good, and yeah.
You played in the first division in Spain, now you come over and play Division I here in the United States. What's the biggest difference been between the Spanish game and the American game?
Oh, it's real different. When I came here the first week, I was trying to adapt, and the first days I realized that it's very different because especially the physicality here and the speed of game, it was really, really different than in Spain. And the type of game that we are used to playing in Spain is like to have more the ball, and maybe here is like to play long balls and really speed game. And there are a lot of times that you have to wait for take a breath and play again. But I think that with the pass of the weeks, I feel better with them. So,
as far as off the field, adjusting to a new culture in America, how difficult has that been to transition into the American culture?
Oh, I miss the food. That's the first thing. Yeah, I miss. But with the coaching staff and my teammates, they are really helping me to adapt here, and I feel really thankful to be with all of them that are helping me.
Coach Roberts, you're very familiar with kind of an international flavor on your roster. 6 different countries represented this season, including Spain, Switzerland, Sweden, really all across the 7 continents. How do you go about recruiting internationally when you're kind of stuck in the middle of the United States here?
Yeah, I think that it's a combination of different things. Obviously, we have outlets of interacting with a lot of coaches on a national team level. Obviously, with my service to the Haiti national team, you do get to kind of connect with a lot of different people around the world. In addition to that, obviously, we've been from Europe. We have a lot of connections already over there. So it's just over the years of passing different tracks in regards to meeting different people, and we've been exposed, and sometimes we'll get a highlight on regards to a person who we feel is going to be able to be a good fit here at Ball State, and obviously players like Paula, came across our desk, and we do our investigation and make sure that they're going to be a good fit, and we've been very, very successful with doing that. So it's a great opportunity for these girls to come over, especially when they devise a different type of chemistry that we have as well. And so mix them all together is always fun to watch, specifically on the first day when they all get to meet each other.
For somebody like Paula, this is a long way, Muncie, Indiana, to come from Valencia, Spain. So how do you sell this program? How do you sell coming to the middle of America all the way from a long way from home?
Well, the opportunity to come over and play in America is huge in itself. The fact that you get to travel and you get your education paid for and you get to get a degree while you're playing and being developed and so forth is huge. Something in the American culture, sometimes we always take it for granted that perhaps we have this fantastic university and we do get to travel, and that's just the normality. But in places like Europe, that's not always the normality. And so it's very appealing, specifically in regards to the experience that the female athletes have here, is that we're well respected, having that equality and opportunities to be given as what the men do as well. And to actually play and travel and get a degree is a one-off. So there's not much selling in it. The product itself actually sells itself.
We heard Paula talk about the different style between the Spanish game and the American game. So when you go across the pond and go to different countries, how has that broadened your knowledge of the game of soccer?
Just having different experiences. Obviously, I was in Spain earlier this year, in Barcelona and Madrid, and just the different approaches to the game, whether it be in a South American style, whether it be a European style, whether it be an African nation style. Everything is completely different. So we always have our different perspectives on how things or the game should be played. And so it's just interesting to see. I spoke with Paul about it, and that when I went over there, I watched a professional game, and literally through the entire game, there was very little connection or tackles being thrown in. It was a very honest game. Nobody was getting slid into or bumped. It was very, very technical. Whereas if you look at the game in, say, in England, or you look at the game in the States, there's a lot of physical contact, but technically it's not as well as what is being played in Spain. So it's just a different approach to how things are, but everything, it just makes the game more interesting to me.
Craig Roberts, head soccer coach, Paula Guerrero, sophomore this year at Ball State, joining us here on SportsLink Live from the Unified Media Lab. Paula, we talked about the differences between the game, between Spain and America, but ultimately, how was Coach Roberts able to convince you to come to America and play here at Ball State?
Don't tell him about the $100. I'm joking.
Well, I started to talk to him, and he really makes me feel like this is a very good opportunity to come here. And the first reason that I was interested, it was because here in America, you have the opportunity to combine 100% studies and soccer. And that was the idea that he still made me feel that it was a really good opportunity to come here. And I thought it was perfect, and now I'm here. Yeah.
How have your teammates helped you adjust? Obviously, a bunch of them have been here in America for a long time, but how have they helped you along the way to feel comfortable here at Ball State?
Oh, I have to say that they are really nice people, and they are always helping me at all with every stuff. And I think that the other internationals that are here think the same. So I'm really thankful to be with all of them, because they are always trying to help us.
When you finally decided to come to Ball State, what were your expectations?
About my teammates?
About just being in America and playing at Ball State?
You didn't realize until you are here, because everything is different. But I'm happy with the change, and I think that yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Was there anything that surprised you?
The food.
Food? Better,
Yeah.
better or worse than in Spain?
Oh, it's a personal opinion.
We won't be offended. We won't be offended. That means we'll just have
I
to go to
prefer
Spain.
Spanish food, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's different about it?
I think that we have more variety. Yeah, I feel like every weekend I'm eating the same type of food. Yeah.
That might just be college. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
Maybe
Yeah.
you can broaden your horizons.
My mom food. I miss my mom food. Yeah.
You had a chance to go out to California early in the non-conference play. So why are those opportunities important to get while you're here in America, to be able to go to different states here within the country?
Yeah, that's a thing that I like to play in soccer, because it's you have the opportunity to play a sport that you love, and at the same time the opportunity to see at different places in the world. So I was really happy to know that I was able to go to Los Angeles, to California, with my teammates, and I love to go to these places. And when we went to Hollywood, it was fantastic. So yeah.
Did you see the Walk of Stars, movie stars?
Oh yeah,
What'd
yeah.
you
I
think?
recorded every star. Yeah.
You have a
in my
favorite
phone.
American movie star?
Oh, Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Miss Congeniality? Have you seen that
Yeah,
movie?
yeah.
Blindside too? Yeah. Coach, talking about the travel and the non-conference schedule, you really challenged your team this year with a couple of teams out in California, then an ACC team in Louisville. First time you guys have beaten a Power 5 team since 2006. How were you able to go into Louisville and defeat a team like that in the ACC?
We obviously had a mapped out game plan that we were going to have to be very patient with. We implemented it with the team immediately after returning back from California, and explained why we were doing it, what was going to be needed, and what energy was needed. But most of all, discipline and just patience. And the girls did a tremendous job of playing the game plan, that what we needed to do. And obviously with the patience, it went into double overtime and ended up getting that winning goal, which was a tremendous feeling, and I just felt that it was well deserved for the girls to get that.
You guys went with a little bit of a different tactic in that game, putting 5 in the back. How adaptable was your team this season?
Very much so. I mean, very intelligent players, willing to listen, to learn about what we need to do and why we need to do that. And I think sometimes there's a way about going about things. Sometimes you adapt for your opposing team, and people fear that. You should stick to what your own personal strengths are and try and implement that on another team. And I think there's a case for that. But sometimes you've got to make sure that you are aware of perhaps the opposition's strengths, and make sure you diffuse those. And with the system that we set up, I felt that we really did that. Everything that they did was kind of falling into what we anticipated to happen. And it was a matter of time before we got our opportunity. We didn't feel as if we were going to get an excessive amount because of the team that they were. They're a very strong team. But when we did have our opportunity to have that happen, we took the most of it. And like I said, it was a great feeling seeing Lorena score that goal. And especially we replayed the highlight of that over and over again, and just the team morale, and just how they enjoyed that. The goal was a pleasure to see.
Speaking of adaptable and being versatile, it's kind of been a revolving door in net this season, with Tristan Studeville coming over from St. Louis, and Alyssa's been here since her freshman season. Why have you decided to go with a 2 goalkeeper system?
Both of them are quality goalkeepers, and I think part of a good team is having preparation for any situation that may arise. Whether it's playing a player that plays in centre midfield as a centre back or a forward, whatever it may be, but you must prepare for something that may come along in the grand scheme of things. And so, if we had one goalkeeper go down and then ask her to go into the net for the first time that season, it may be a bit overwhelming. But both of them are very talented, and both of them bring an equal competitiveness to the team. And everybody's very, very comfortable with both goalkeepers. So we're lucky and fortunate to have that. But both of them have been able to give us that stellar point back in the net for from our defense.
After the first 2 weekends of conference play, you guys are still undefeated, 3 wins, 1 tie. Since your first year here in conference play, only 1 win, and last year in year 6, you've been able to make the steady improvements to get to 10 wins, a Mid-American Conference regular season title. How have you been able to improve this program year in and year out and find that gradual success?
I think you have to, we've had to continually have individuals buy into what we were doing. It is a transition, and just taking steps in the right direction. I think you can't take huge steps at times, and people have to believe in what you're doing and how you're going about things. And I think consequently, when you make statements to perhaps recruits that come in about what will happen in X amount of time, is that they either buy into what you're saying or they don't. And I believe that each individual that's passed through the program since we've been here have bought into that. And consequently, because we've been able to get them to do that, the recruits and so forth, the standard and the expectations is continually driven. So although we're having highlighted performances again this season, it's going to come down to the individuals that started for me, that happened 7 years ago when we first arrived here, was they kind of made the platform and the foundation for what was going to happen. And with continued commitment, we've ended up getting stronger and stronger and improving in all aspects. And I think we'll continue to do that as we continue to work with this program.
SportsLink Live here from the Unified Media Lab. Connor running with Ball State soccer player Paula Guerrero and head coach Craig Roberts. Paula, now you guys come home tomorrow and play Western Michigan. What's been the best part about playing at Briner Sports Complex here in Muncie?
Oh, the best part is that we play at home and we have the support of our people here in the university. And I hope that they enjoy the game because it will be a really good game.
The atmosphere has been very good the past couple of seasons.
Very good. I mean, I continue to get shocked at the increased attendance we're having. More and more people come out to watch us play, and sometimes we encourage individuals just to give us a one shot. Excuse the pun, but they give us a one shot to come out here, and when they come out, they realise the games are exciting. They always comment about the physicality of the girls, about how great athletes they are, and they return back. And so our fan base and our effect within the Muncie community is also getting stronger and better as well. So the attendance rates just continue to rise. So that's obviously delightful for us to have a big fan base behind us.
For people who haven't seen you play before, why should they come out to Briner Sports Complex on Thursday afternoon and watch you guys play?
It's going to be a great game. Western Michigan are obviously the reigning champs who won the tournament season last season. We were obviously reigning champs of the regular season. And so you're going to have 2 fantastic teams playing against each other. Right now, for first place, everything's still up for grabs. We've still got several games to go, and both teams are still in the running for it. Although they've dropped 2 games, they're still not out of it. So these are the clutch games that both teams have to win if they're going to serve as being that number 1 spot. And so I think we both have that championship blood in us, and we want to make sure that we're both number 1. Hopefully it'll be the Cardinal blood that gets it.
Well, Coach, let's hope we're still undefeated at the end of the season.
Thank you.
All right, and get her some good American food this weekend.
Oh, we're going to get her some paella, yeah.
Coach Craig Roberts, Paula Guerrero with Ball State Soccer. I'm Connor Runyon. Thanks for joining us here inside the Unified Media Lab. We'll be back next week, each week, 12:30, talking Ball State athletics here on SportsLink Live. Thanks for watching.